Hello, Jamie back from Inky&Scrappy, creating in my chaos today for my Let's Start Stamping series. I'll zoom you in so you don't have to see all the mess all the time. I think I'm going to do some free stamping today, which just basically means I'm using an acrylic block and my stamp and doing it that way instead of using the stamp platform that I normally use. I'm bringing in Lawn Fawn's Love You Bunches. So this one was one of my, how shall I say, like unicorn stamp sets. It's no longer available. It was done for an Essentials by Ellen, and I picked it up on, I think this one was like on Lawn Fawn's buy sale trade, possibly. Somebody was getting rid of it. They were actually getting rid of 2 of the sets that were on my I want them and I will buy them and I will love them forever, you know, want list, right? So if you're new to stamping, I highly suggest going to, and look, I didn't even clean my desk off today. I highly suggest going to those buy sale trade groups. Like there's Clear Stampers, I think it's Clear Stampers D-Stash group, and there's also like if you like a certain brand, they usually have their own like buy sell trade group. Go check them out because you can find things that cheaper, you know, they might be used, some of them are already still new, but anyways, you can find them a little bit cheaper than new, and you know, that way you can play a little bit more and you know, you get a little more bang for your buck sometimes. You know, sometimes you can get really good deals. Anyways, I'm starting with my monkey here and just some Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. I am going to do some alcohol ink coloring with my Ohuhus today. Probably using that 60 set that I have, and of course the probably the natural skin tone color ones as well. I would suggest getting the black add-on as well if you are thinking about it. I am going to stamp this one multiple times, so I have switched the battery, so I'm gonna turn off the camera, stamp it a bunch of times. I'm only gonna color one on camera, but I'm gonna kind of show you a couple of different cards at the end that I finish with, only because I am really slacking on my Lawn Fawn birthday cards, and so I need to make a bunch, and I think this one will be fast, hopefully, and easy to mass produce. So I will be back in a little bit. I also pulled in some banana bunches for, you know, some added color interest. Plus, it kind of looks like he's holding on to something. A cupcake would be really cute too, but I think I'm going with bananas. So these are the colors that I picked out for this one. I'm going to go with some really simple coloring, I hope. That's my plan, man. I will do a pink cheek with that R195, and then for most of it, for the darker part of the monkey, I'm going to go with that E340, and I'll just layer it. And then for the face, I'm going to go with that E288. For the banana, I have yellow and then primary yellow, so Y593 and Y396. And then for my vine, I have, I think the grass green, I will check it while we color. I think the grass green is my darker tone, don't quote me on that one, which is G483, and the lighter tone, which is a vivid green, is G472. Although it looks the other way on my marker caps. I will check it before I color. The joy of stamping with a block is, so you know, I use all of my scraps when it comes to my coloring paper. I'm coloring on Express It today instead of the Bristol Smooth. Express It just gives you a better blend, so if it's something that you struggle with, go to the Express It. I think you will enjoy it. If you like coloring with alcohol markers, I would definitely suggest going with the full pack. I think I've said it before. I don't know if I've said it on this one. I know I've said it on other videos. The 472 vivid green is darker than my grass green, just if you're wondering. I think I've said it, maybe I said it on here, but I know I've said it on other videos, that I pick up mine from, I think it's called Office Supply Discount, and it's usually they have a coupon code and free shipping after $45, so it's usually like under 50 bucks for a ream, which is like 150 sheets. It ends up being like 33 cents or something like that a sheet at their regular price, and I don't think I normally pay regular price. It's usually less than that, and then of course free shipping. They also have other stamps and such in their you know, I don't know, in their catalog, so it's not just office supplies, which is kind of fun. Yes, honey, I just bought office supplies this week. What did you buy from there? Just office supplies. That's what it says, right? So I just went with some simple coloring on the leaves. If you lost too much of the green with your second coat, go ahead and go hit it with that darker shade again, and it'll pop it back out. But I'm trying to keep the coloring fairly simple on this one. And then for my yellow, you probably could get away with one yellow. Here's hoping I don't need to heat set my ink. It's been, I don't know if it's just, I switched back to my Lawn Fawn one because my Hero Arts one was just not, I don't know, can I say it just wasn't working very well with my yellows. It was definitely smearing and smudging, and that's not what you want with alcohol markers. You can get, if you have Hero Arts and you have that issue, heat set your ink or stamp it and let it sit for a day and then work from there. Did I finish talking about the block stamping? The block stamping is nice because you can kind of hit wherever you need to go and you don't have to move, you know, you're moving your stamp on your own. So pretty simple coloring on the bananas there. Nothing too major, just kind of putting it dark where the bananas, like the bottom part, and then going that way. Granted, they'll probably be in the monkey's hand, so I don't know how much you'll see anyways, but let's color up a monkey. So I'm going to start with my darker tone here. I'm just going to kind of lay in where I want the shadow for my first layer of the darker color ink. We've talked in the past about coloring with alcohol markers and how it's a transparent ink, and so when you layer it on top of itself, it's going to get darker. It's just kind of how a transparent color works. It's just going to continually get darker as you layer it on itself. So I'm just going to kind of hit where I think I want my darker shades to be. Ears. I think we go lighter on the ears. If it looks silly with the light, we can always go back, but I'm pretty sure it's lighter ears. So usually if I'm only using one color and I'm trying to layer it, it's okay to kind of go slow or let it dry in between your layers. I think you get a better layer that way. And then for my second layer, I'm just going to go over the whole thing one time. And this will give me the variation that I want with just one marker color. I don't need to have 3 or 2 to get, you know, the look that I'm going for. Now for his body and his head, I'm probably going to go with a third layer just because I want it to have a little bit more roundness or shape to it, a little bit more in that respect. So I'm just going to go over everything that I colored the first time and then add a little bit to it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go over it just a little bit more the second time through. And then for my third time through, I'm going to go over the whole area one time. So this just means that I'm hitting that area that I hadn't hit yet one time, and then, you know, where I had already gone, I'm going a third time or a second time. And that's how you kind of get your color variation with just one marker, by layering your alcohol markers on top of each other. So if you struggle with finding the right colors, of course my blog has all of my color combos on there. If you're looking, it's on the side tab. They're easy. I think they're easy to find. Even if you're on mobile, they're just on a drop down menu. And so go check it out. Use them and use them wisely. No, use them as a resource. Always look for other color combos if you know, are looking. There's plenty of other resources out there as well. So And the face, I'm going to kind of do the same thing, but I'm only going to go 2 layers because I really don't want it to get too dark. I want the face to kind of be lighter just because it's a face. So I'm going to do my first layer on that outside, and then of course I'm just coming in and going over the whole image one more time. So if you find that you're getting streaks in your coloring, add another layer on top. Hopefully that helps. But watch as it dries. Sometimes when it dries, it goes through. Like here, it looks a little funny. It looks lighter. I'm going to leave it. It's not that big of a deal. It's okay. Sometimes we have to be okay with it being okay. For the cheek, you can either add this first or last, like I'm going to do. It's not an overly bright pink, so I'm just going to add that after the fact and hope that it kind of gives me a pink cheek. But you can definitely add this one as an undertone, especially if you're using a little bit darker pink. I don't know what this one is. I was gonna say I have my color swatches, but I don't have them right in front of me. So I'm going to color the rest of those off camera, and then I will bring in the coordinating dies. But I'll show you how we do the coordinating dies. This one's one of those videos that I wish I had more time on my hands, but you know, it's going to be done in steps, so I hope I don't repeat myself. So the dies, you just either bend them back and forth to cut them apart, or get yourself a, I don't have it here, as I say, sometimes I do, okay, a fine tip side cutters. I do believe I picked this one up at either Menards or Harbor Freight has them. Something that's going to be small enough that you can get in here. The other option you can use is definitely using a scissors. Just don't use an expensive one. Use a very cheap one, especially for like little areas. This one's not bad, but some of the ones, like, you can barely get a scissor tip in there, and sometimes you just need to get a little gouge in it so you can work it back and forth, you know, and go from there. So I will cut these apart, and then I will, that's the wrong one, line them up, tape them down with some low tap tape, and then I will run all of them through the die cut machine one at a time. So I will be back when we get to that step. Okay, so I've die cut everything out and colored all of my images, all of the things. I decided my monkeys are a little on the dark side, which is fine, but I was gonna bring in, I'm gonna bring in the 05 Jelly Roll pen. I scribbled it on a piece of paper to make sure it works, and I'm just gonna add a couple of white highlights. Nothing major, kind of following some of the curve lines, but this is gonna help, I think, kind of separate like the head from the body here, give that hairline a little bit of a highlight. I like to add little dots to the cheek. Granted, with the 05 you really don't see them. I mean, you do, but they're pretty tiny. And just kind of give them all just a little bit of a white highlight. And then I'm going to do the same to the rest of the images that are going to go with them, just so they all kind of matchy match. I know matchy match isn't a word, but you know what I mean. Maybe. And the bananas. Okay, that one's done. This one I did. I think we're going to do 3 cards together. Only because I die cut and have most of the pieces ready for most of these. And so they should come together pretty quickly. I think I have one done already that I can show you when we get that far. I stopped because I tend to start and then forget that I'm not recording, and yeah. And then you'd be like, hey, you stopped at the coloring and that was it? That's all we get today? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So usually I wait to do the white highlights until afterwards. Because sometimes I have extra images that I don't use and then they're white highlighted, and I'm not great about doing highlights on things. And so if I wait to do them until I know I'm going to use all the pieces, sometimes I will wait until they're on my card. Not gonna lie. Okay, I think I have everything ready to go. But it just kind of brings out the rest of, you know, it kind of differentiates because we went so dark with them. It kind of differentiates. And I switched up my coloring when I did the rest of them. So I kind of did my darker from the bottom line and then made it lighter towards the top, and I did the same with the monkey where I started with down here for my darkest and then I worked my way up to light just to try to get a little bit more of that little hair visible because I went so dark with it. I maybe would go with a little bit lighter next time. I mean, I like how they turned out, but I would maybe go a little bit lighter on my marker choice next time, even just going with the one. So I have my images ready. I have one piece of cardstock ready. So I did these already and I just wanted to show you they're both the same ink. Do they look like they're both the same ink? Definitely not. So this one is on Bristol Smooth. I'm not exactly sure. This one might be Bristol Smooth but a different brand. So no, this one is not Bristol Smooth. This one is Heavy Stock. I had these left over from a class I taught. So this one is Ranger's Heavy Stock. Not great for watercolor or waterwork, but really good for blending. And you can see the difference in the whites. So if you're like, my ink doesn't look the same on, this is why, because this one has more of a yellowish tone to it. And so that yellowish tone, it kind of almost gives it more of a gray feel than this one, which kind of gives it the tumbled glass. And my tumbled glass isn't going to be a true tumbled glass because I don't clean my blending brushes in between. I am a sloppy crafter. It is what it is. So I'm going to bring in my cloud stencil for this one. You can either make your cloud stencil if you have a cloud stencil. It's just a, you know, bumpy edge that looks like clouds. No big deals. And then I'm just going to start off of it a little bit, come in and just kind of hit that one, concentrating my darkest shade towards the bottom here, just because I want that definite definition, but I also don't want the rest of it to just be a stark white. And then for my subsequent layers, I'm just going to kind of concentrate on bringing it off of the stencil and not so much about hitting all the way to the top. I just didn't want the outside edge there to be white. And I continually move my stencil so it's not the same cloud formation. You can definitely just go back and forth, flip it over. You really only need one line because this one's it's going to be a fairly small focal point piece. I don't want to match my other one, so turn it a little bit. And let's go with some bigger puffy ones down here. Of course, I picked like the corner of the stencil, so it's gonna wiggle. All right, and then on the bottom, I'm just gonna kind of come up with my ink a little bit, and then on the sides as well. I should maybe think about, are we that close? Sorry, I forgot we zoomed in for them. I used Tumbled glass for my color on that one in the Distress Oxide. You could do Oxide or regular Distress ink if you're looking, or any dye ink, to be honest. Mine probably still has a little bit of like Faded Jeans on it, or Stormy Cloud, which is going to give me a grayer tone of blue and not quite as bright. So for this one, I want to trim it down just to kind of give it a little bit so it's going to match I just want to go to 2 1/4 on my width on this one, and then I think my length on this one is 3 1/4. So 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 just kind of gives me an okay working piece to go with. Let's see, which one are we doing today? Come in with off off-white. I'm going to do the off-white for this one, I think, and then I'll switch to, I mean, this one, to me, this is still off-white, but it's whiter than the other one, so we'll do that one. Okay, so I'm just going to, this one is, of course, cut the hot dog way and not the hamburger way, right? No, is it hot dog? I don't know, whatever. I guess if you're having a Big Mac, right? The long way, vertically cut instead of horizontally cut on that A2 size paper. I'm gonna bring in my bone folder just to kind of crease that a little bit better. Now for this one, let's see. I'm gonna bring in, I found some banana paper, and let's see if this one's gonna, I think we'll be okay with this one on there. Some banana paper and then some green that kind of goes with my greenery there. And we're just gonna layer it up. And then I think we'll add our sentiment right on to this piece here. So I think that's what we're going to do. But I want my bananas to match the bananas there. And since I didn't color them that way, I'm just going to add a dot of brown up there and then just kind of dot some well overripe bananas. When I could eat bananas, they had to be green yet. Not green, but like still have a little bit of green on them. That was the perfect banana. My kids are the same way. If they have a dot of brown on them, I might as well just make banana bread for them because they're not going to eat said banana. Or banana pie. They'll eat banana pie if they're overripe bananas. I'm pretty sure they get their banana pickiness from their mother who can no longer eat bananas. Why? Because I'm allergic to them. I'm allergic to everything in this life. Okay, so I'm putting my banana paper on there. This is a Lawn Fawn banana paper. I'm pretty sure I got it free in one of my Lawn Fawn orders. They usually send you like 3 sheets of paper. That's usually they're 12 by 12 that's been cut down. Don't quote me on that. That's just, you know, what I can remember getting. So I want to make sure before I get too far, I want to put my sentiment on here. But I want to make sure that my sentiment is going to kind of fill in this space here without kind of giving me a visual outline of, you know, space. So this far from the top, this far from the bottom sort of thing. I hope that makes sense. So I'm gonna kind of go in with my swinging by to say and make sure it is centered-ish. I eyeball everything. It's just how I work. My brother and my husband, well, my brother used to get mad at me. My husband still gets, you know, when I'm working on a project with him and I'm just like, I just eyeball things. I don't necessarily measure to make sure it's level. It's a boy thing. I'm coming in with VersaFine Onyx Black ink to ink up that sentiment stamp, and then I'm going to stamp that. I mean, it looks, once and done, looks pretty good. So we're gonna pull that one out. I'll clean off my stamp so when I do the next one, hopefully I don't muck it up. Do I want to pop up the whole panel? Probably. Okay, I'm not going to glue down that panel yet because I want to add in my, I'm going to pop up the whole panel, I think, on some 3D foam tape just to give it a little bit of dimension. So for this one, I'm just going to kind of go with that guideline of matching my sides to my top piece here, and I didn't measure this one for you. This one is 3 inches wide by 4¼ inches long. So, you know, it fits this way. Did I mean to cut it this size? No. I meant to cut it bigger, and I messed up my cutting, so I reevaluated my life choices and went with a, you know, smaller cut. It's all good. So for this one, I'm going to bring in my monkey, and of course his tail just kind of like hangs on there, right? So I just want to center him, kind of keep him center. I guess you could definitely make him swing. If you wanted to make him swing, you'd have open space. I'm thinking I'll probably go more centered. I just want to make sure that his bananas are gonna fit on my little scene thingy here. Dooby dooby doo. So it should be good to go about there with it. So I'm just gonna add some glue. Whoops. And my leaves are going to hang off just slightly off of my actual card front here, or panel, I guess, my little mini scene. Alright, monkey man. And I'm not going to press down his hands yet because I still have to get those bananas in there. I'm just going to kind of have him tucked in the one side and then kind of over his face on the other side. So he's kind of got him smushed, right? I think we're good there. So swinging by to say, and then before I pop it up, let's do the inside of this one. And because I'm working on all of those birthday cards that should have probably been in already, I'm gonna go with this little monkey guy. I think he'll be cute. Right on top of my sentiment, and I'm going to do it this way so I can use the same one for all of my cards and not have to remeasure. So using that flat edge, I'm bringing in the Lawn Fawn Pool Party. I just needed a happy birthday sentiment, and this one just happened to be on my desk, so it's what I went with. I am missing the little exclamation point, so it doesn't get an exclamation point today. I have no clue where it went. I noticed it the other day when I took it out. No dice. No bueno. Finger measure. Are we somewhat straight? Here's hoping. I'm going to pop it on there and then I'll straighten it. Let's see. I think it actually popped on there pretty good. So we're just going to come in with the VersaFine again. You could definitely go with a brown pigment ink on this one, or, you know, colored ink on this one if you wanted to. I would probably go with brown. And one and done with the VersaFine. Okay, so I have my inside done for this one. I'll set that one off to the side. Inside's done, and then we're just going to pop this one up. I'm going to use Big Momma Foam Tape. You can also get it on, it's a Simon Says stamp. It's like a super thin foam tape, so it doesn't really add a lot of bulk to your card, especially if you don't like paying for extra postage. It just kind of adds that little bit of pop without a lot of height. Where is my scissors? Okay. I like to use this one if I'm doing multiple layers on cards, because yes, I like to do lots of layers sometimes. So if you do like this one with a thicker one, you get, you know, some height difference, but it still doesn't add, you know, I mean, by the time I'm done, it's usually a lot, but that way you can kind of do, instead of doubling up some of your thicker stuff, you can kind of use the Dollar Tree stuff and then this stuff, and it gives you two different heights, and it works well. And then I'm just going to pop this one on the front center. I've been doing this layout a lot lately. Tried and true. Must be good. I think it needs some dots of some sort. I don't know what kind of dots it needs, but it needs something. We could do some little yellow ones, or let's see, what else do I have in my stash of stashes? We could go with some little hearts, would be cute. Magic Mirror, Lucky Charms. That would be green. I kind of want almost like a blue, just to kind of pull some more blue into there. That one's got some dark blues. Not what I'm exactly looking for. Stage lights might have some softer colors. That one's got yellows in it. Springtime Rainbow has some blues that I think will work. Let's go with that one. This is an old diamond dot, like pouring tray, like where you put your diamond dots in, and it worked well for holding embellishments when you're adding things. Ooh, the green would work too. I think I want to do the blue though, and I think I'm just going to go with a few here. 1, 2, 3. Just kind of around my monkey dude. Or dudette. I'm only seeing little blue ones. Why? Okay. Go with that one. Is there a big blue one in here? Oh, I see it. I see it. Of course, it went hiding on me. Jamie, why was your video an hour long? Because I spent 30 minutes looking for a large blue embellishment. I mean, it probably wouldn't be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. It's cold in my house today. So we went from 90 on like what? Saturday today. So we went from 90 on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to 40 this morning. It's supposed to get down to 33 tonight. I'm not looking forward to that tomorrow morning. So there we have our first card for, or you know, you can quit watching at this point if you want, but the rest of them I have pretty much mostly done for the most part. Possibly I won't put them on card bases. You kind of saw how the card base went anyways. Let's see, I have another one that's going to be just like that. I'm going to bring in this one because it's just a little bit different with that cute little, oh wait, that one was supposed to go for this one. Okay, I'm going to have to do, where's my other one? I did this one already. I'm going to do a circle one with you. Oh. Okay, there are my circle component pieces. Alright, I'm going to bring in the card base though. Okay, so the card base for this one, I'll stamp my sentiment later. Okay, here we go. We're trying not to spill my gems. Alright, so this one, because it's, if you can see, it's kind of like got that glitter on the cardstock. I don't like to hide all of that behind my next piece. So I took it's the joy of having those rectangle dies or even circle dies. And as long as your next layer is bigger than your cutout, nobody needs to know. Well, I mean, you and I will know, right? But nobody else needs to know. It does make it a little more difficult to put on the front of your card, but it cuts down on weight as well. So if you are like me and your cards tend to weigh a lot, it is kind of helps cut down on the weight a little bit. I know Jennifer McGuire does it. You can even just cut out sentiments from that portion. If you have sentiments like thanks or hello or happy birthday or something like that, you can do that as well. And you know, nobody's gonna know that it's not there. And then for this one, I am going with this bright pink. I want to say this color is Watermelon from Close to My Heart. And I went with Watermelon from Close to My Heart because I already did my little monkey and I gave him a little cupcake for this one. Now, I will say this, the cupcake was already colored. I probably wouldn't have gone with the one with the leaf, but it works. I think I want to go there with it. And then I brought in, so I did some spray adhesive, or some spray mica on just a piece of white cardstock for the background on this one. That's why I said you don't really need to have the stencil if you don't want to. And so I went with the swinging by. There's two swinging bys. I don't know where the other one is currently located. I cut two of them, you know, because I could get two out of my scrap. There's my scrap. Here we go. I say the other one's a little bit bigger, so I think I want to go with the little bit bigger one on this one. That was kind of my intent, was to go with this one. I should have maybe stamped like bananas on there. I could have stamped cupcakes on there. That'd be kind of cute. Do I have cupcakes? I could have done little hearts too. When you know where your stamp sets come from. So the cupcake on this one is from A Bug Deal. So I'm just going to bring in that one to kind of add to my paper. Since there's no pattern to it and I like just a little bit. It needs a little something just because it's very plain, which is fine. I just, you know, I mean, sometimes I'm extra. I'm going to go tone on tone, so I'm just going to bring in the watermelon color ink from Close to My Heart for this one. It would probably, color-wise, it's probably close to Picked Raspberry. If I had to pick a Tim Holtz one, that would be my pick on this one. I should have masked that off. You know, since I didn't do this earlier, I am going to pretend that I did it earlier and had some going off the edge of the page. So by just bringing in a scrap, you don't end up with over ink. And if they're not perfect, it's not a big deal. It's just really for background, not so much for, you know, it's not your focal point, so it's okay. I promise it'll be okay. Nobody but you and I will notice, for the most part. Oh, well, that one looks exactly like the other one. Go figure. That's what happens when I'm not paying attention. Okay. The hardest part is done, and now it's just kind of filling in around there. I'm not too worried about these being close together or not close together because I'm going to have that image on the top, so I know that's going to kind of take up a bunch of it. And I can play with placement if I don't like something, you know, except for my row down on the bottom that all looks the same and close together. It is what it is. Go here. I'm going to go here with that one just because I know it's going to get covered, so I'm not worried about it. Okay. Oh, yeah, it was. So there is that one. So you just pop it up just a little bit with that added cupcake in the background. And really, it's birthdays. You can't have enough cupcakes, can you? I didn't think so. I'm just going to glue this one down flat. And I'm kind of gauging my distance here to kind of there. Not so much the cupcake as, you know, the kind of the circle. And then I think there's some really bright pink ones in there, so we're just going to add a couple pops of pink in here. Go here and there. Do a couple of triangles. Maybe. Okay, usually this one is like the bestest, except for when it's stupidly cold in my house. I am making, I laughed because I was like, wow, if we do. So, did I say we had the furnace replaced? So we had the furnace replaced and the AC unit because, you know, the AC unit died on us last fall. And, you know, the furnace is getting old, so it was time to replace it. And so we did both of them, right? And so when they were here, it was stinking hot, and it was supposed to get cold, and I knew it was supposed to get cold, but it was only supposed to get down to like 36 one night. And so, you know, they got most of it done, and he's like, well, I don't have this done and this done, and I'm like, that's fine. Like, they have to come back and do the rest of the ductwork because it's old house, so they had to redo some ductwork stuff. And so he's like, well, I don't have the ductwork done, but you know, we hooked it. They did some cardboard box finagling, so at least the house cooled down. And so he's like, but I didn't set, you know, he's like, I can stay late and set the furnace, like, fuel line in. And I was like, no, that's fine. You know, he's like, well, it's supposed to get cold. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just one day. Like, I'll just make cookies or something. Well, I guess I'll be making bread, cookies, bars, pie. I don't know, a few things. You know, just me trying to stay warm. It is what it is. It's only a couple days. We'll live. So there is the swinging by to say, and then of course the inside will have the same thing stamped on it. But that was, you know, basically the same images. You could definitely go with yellow paper and bananas if you still have, you know, holding the bananas. And then of course I did this one off camera. So you have this one and this one. And here's the one we did on camera. So it kind of gives you 3 different takes on them. Sorry, I'm trying to fit them in camera. So this one and that one. I think the ones that I have cut are going to be basically the same, and then I have one that's going to be my craft roulette one, which I want to do a little bit more fun stuff. So this is the basis of the video, and I will include my craft roulette one, but I'm going to speed it up at the end of the video. So you can stay tuned for it and watch it if you want. I just want to do some hand stitching on it, so it's going to take me a little bit more time. So I'll see you next time. Have an amazing rest of your day, or stay tuned for my craft roulette throw together. All right, bye. I wasn't going to do this one in real time, but you know, if you stuck around, you can see me mess stuff up just as well in live time as you can in sped up version. So let's get on it. So this week's craft roulette parameters are 4-bar card, which is not one that we normally do with our simple, or no, with our, I can't talk today either, with our Let's Start Stamping series. Whew, Jamie, yikesies. I did the birthday on the inside already, but it's like, it's not exactly 5, it's supposed to be 4 7/8 by 3.5. I cut this one just to 5, just because it's easier than 7/8. It really doesn't matter. If I was off on one end, I would have probably just switched it. I made them sad clouds and not happy fluffy clouds. Wow. Alright, let's do happy fluffy clouds instead of the sad clouds. Did you know if you turn your cloud stencil upside down, you get sad, droopy clouds instead of happy clouds? Happy clouds? The other sad clouds. It's out there. Anyways, this is just me. Alright. So, this is like, probably colored thumbtacks came in it. I don't know. I have an actual, like, cutting mat or whatever mat somewhere. Don't ask me where. It's in the drawer. I'm too lazy today. Anyways, it's called The Story of My Life. I haven't decided how to do this one yet. So I'm thinking, if I go doot, I'm not going to use the little hangy thing. I think I'm just going to use my stitching as the hangy thing. Anyways, the colors were Craft Store. So, which is basically anything, right? Because you can pretty much find any color at the craft store. I mean, all of my items, most of my items were bought at a craft store, so all of them would fit, right? Okay, that's my color scheme. I did think about using the color scheme for the old craft roulette, or for the old for craft roulette. I planned on using, I think they're no longer open, the store that was closest to us, which is Crafts Direct. But I couldn't find their logo stuff, and I'm pretty sure I have it here somewhere, because, you know, I do. Oh, I found it now. They kind of had black and white, red maybe, and that was like it. So I just decided not to go that route, because I wasn't in the black, white, and red mood. These I got from, these are 2007, okay, so yeah, you can't get them anymore. You might be able to find stitching guides of some sort, but I mean, they're just kind of stitching guides, right? So my thought was, I kind of want to do something that's a little bit, but I want it to go off. That's where my thought process was. So if I go this route and just kind of have it, the monkey is swinging in, I can skip that one, kind of just come up. I don't have to do all of them, but I can do some of them, right? Maybe I should go up a little bit more with it. If I just follow this line, it's going to get too close to the edge there. So if I follow this line, which is probably the better option, and I could just go where. Yeah, if this one gets long, I'll just trim it down. Okay, I think I want to stop there with that one because I want to play a little bit. But so basically with this one, you just kind of go and follow your pokes. No big deal, and it just kind of gives you the guide for stitching. So really, if you have something that's going to give you that circle, and then you just kind of predetermine where you want your stitches to go, you could definitely just go that route with it. So here's where my focal, like my turning point is, and I want to add, I want to come up, this is how I do these things, you know. I kind of want to do here, but I want it to go here. I'm trying to look. I gotta put a finger width. So as long as you match up on this one, at least, as long as you match up like your end dot, you can kind of just make it work. That one's going to be right on the edge. Okay. So now I have my stitch line in there. Makes it super simple. I wish they would come back out with something like this. I don't know if I've seen anything like it since. Stitching on your card fronts was a big thing back in the day. Like back in 2007, right? I enjoyed it immensely. Let's see what this one has. That is not going to be long enough strand of green. But there's a needle for me. Let's see. There's my other green. And that green like almost matches perfectly with the other one that I was using. Okay. Every time I think I have it right and I'm going to do it right and it's not going to end up in a big ball of wow, I made a mess of things. It ends up, yep, in a big ball of I made a mess of things. That's how I roll. Okay, that should be way more than I need. I'm going thick, so I'm not gonna split it. You could definitely split it. It would be fine. Do I want? I think I'm just gonna go with a knot on the end. Call it good. The inside. We'll see how horrible it looks when we're all done. I've done some where they look fine, and I've done some where it looks like a hot mess Xpress, like Jamie did it, basically. And so if it's bad, I'll just end up covering it with some leftover banana paper. I have some somewhere. It's here. So then basically, did I go in the wrong hole? Nope. Okay. I just kind of start and then do like a basic, is it back stitch? I think that's what it is. So finding your next hole and back stitching. So really, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's so easy to just cover this one up. So I'm just gonna eyeball it right above that banana there. And then, where's my foam tape? Just to give it that little bit of pop to go over the actual stitching. And it'll be enough to hold it in place anyways. I'm not necessarily concerned about my stitching coming out. I have good knots in there, or big enough knots in there. I mean, as long as you're not yanking on the stitches, you should be fine. It's just paper after all. I think we're good there. So I'm just going to go center over the top. Stick that to my block there. Nobody sees it. All better. So I'm going to add a little extra thing of bananas on the inside though, because what else am I going to do with them? I could put them with the stamp set and, you know, but this works too. Bananas! Okay. And then it kind of ties that in. Anyways, so there we have that. And then I will just add a sentiment yet to this one. Do I want to add? I have these sitting there, which I thought they'd be kind of cute to pull in and pop on there. They're not really the right color green though, are they? Not the right shade. Okay. I think we're good there. I will add in my sentiment yet to the bottom. I think I'm just going to go with the straight up stamping. Do I want? I centered it pretty good, didn't I? I think I'm just going to do this swinging by to say right on there. I could do it under there, but I'm going to come in with the brown this time, the vintage sepia, just because there's not a lot of black on the front, right? And really the monkey kind of is such a dark brown that it kind of covers up the black anyways. So I'm just going to come in with the brown for this one. Stamp it twice, should be good. Do I need anything? I could do some little green. Let me look. I'm pretty sure I have some green little leaves somewhere. Okay, I'm done singing. Alright, these will work. I think we're going to add some leaves after all. I'm going to pick through and grab just a couple. Jam picker. Which leaves do I want? Probably those. Go to your home. Your home is on top of the pile of glue that I put there for you. Behave yourself. The yellow one's cute and all, but that's not what I'm going for. Okay. Oh, that's a pretty piece. I like it. Okay. And there we go. I did add these. I think we're good. So for craft roulette this week, it was a 4-bar card, which is 4 7/8 by 3 inches. I cheated and went with 5. It fits in my envelope, which is a 4-bar card envelope. And colors were craft store colors. Well, you have lots of greenery in the craft store, like the flower section. Of course, you know, browns and yellows, blues, all the colors of the rainbow you can find there. And or my nod to Joann's, which is green. So let's see. And then stitched. So we have stitching was one of them. Sewing or stitching. I think it was sewing or sew. So of course I sewed on my little vine, and then of course there's faux stitching or faux sewing on the die cut frame. And the last one was, what was the last one? Stitching or sewing, stitching. It was a really easy week. Oh, stenciling. So I used the cloudy stencil, and then of course I also used the stencil for my swirl. So there I have my craft roulette make for this week as well. Alright, now I'm over and out. Bye!